Hey, Sebas, so for this episode of Versus, what two movies are we watching and from what genre?
Hey, we're watching today The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the classic Western movie from Sergio Leone with Clint Eastwood. And from the Quentin Tarantino, we're watching The Hateful Eight from the 2015. So it's a Western, full Western, a little bit of a different Westerns, but with a lot of dialogue of both of them. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay, Johnny, this one's got your number on it. Let's jam.
Okay, welcome back to CinemaJam Versus. Today we have a new jam-pack competition between two great westerns. We're gonna see a lot of pistols. We're gonna see a lot of people shooting each other, and we are excited to talk about it. But as always, I'm Sebastian Gomez from Austin, Texas, and from Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, Pablo Ovelez from Montreal in Quebec in Canada. Hi, Sebas. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to see what is supposed to be Texas in some of these movies, or at least the South of the United States. That's very representative of what you see when you travel pretty close to Austin, where we are. So we want to remind people that this is our mid of the week episode, the English version of the CinemaJam Versus. We also have our episodes on Fridays, that is the main episode. But we really like to talk about this, and we are asking our listeners, please subscribe, like, review. If you give us a 5-star in Apple podcast, that help us, or a like in YouTube. And if you subscribe and share it, it will be help us a lot. So, okay, Pablo.
Yeah, let's take it away. Let me ask you something, Sebas, and for our listeners. Why did you pick? What was the reason for picking up two westerns for this Versus episode?
Well, I know you're not you don't see a lot of westerns, so I had a few westerns in my mind.
Now I spend 6 hours of my life watching westerns, so I think I'm no longer an amateur in this.
Especially, and if we add the ones that we saw in the main episode, in the main podcast, you can probably add another 6 or more to that. But I have to be honest, Hateful Eight was in Netflix for a long time, and I saw they were going to remove it on January 24th. And that's the reason I decided to jump into that one. And the first movie that came to mind when I was watching Hateful Eight a couple of weeks ago was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Even more than the other Sergio Leone movies, this one has like the biggest cast. So that's one of the reasons I decided to go with this one, and not, for example, my favorite for Sergio Leone is actually not with Clint Eastwood, is Once Upon a Time in the West. I think that's actually my favorite one, but that one is really more than 3 hours. So that will be even harder for you to watch. And both of them, I think they have an interesting dialogue. They are very story driven. They have a lot of betrayals. So that's why the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly jumped into my head when I was watching Hateful Eight, because a lot of betrayal, a lot of backstabbing. So that's another of the reasons.
Should we say, Sebas, that maybe just before we start the rounds, that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was more like the landmark for westerns, and you can tell the influence that it had on The Hateful Eight?
Yeah. So Sergio Leone by 1966 had already done popular movies with Clint Eastwood, where he was like the main character. The famous Dollar Trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More. And this is basically the conclusion to that trilogy. So it's basically like, after working with Clint Eastwood for so many years, he decided, okay, let's do like one big close with Clint Eastwood, where he runs away with $200,000, $100,000 in gold coins, and it will actually take him another 3 years to make his real, like, the closer to his western. And that's when the other one I mentioned, the Once Upon a Time in the West, that will be actually his last western, and that's actually a big one as well, because actually it's more, well, to be honest, it's hard to say, because this one is so epic. It's all in the middle of the American Civil War. I I forgot how big and how important the Civil War is in this movie. And basically, anyone that wanted to make a good Western after this basically had to copy this movie because it had the better characters, the good, the bad, and the ugly are actually very memorable in its own way. So I think that's something that we can talk later. And basically, they talk a lot and they betray a lot, and that's why I think it influences even movies like The Hateful Eight.
Okay.
So just want to remind our listeners, this is a versus. We're going to do 6 rounds where we'll be comparing betting like key elements of each movie, and we will decide which one will be the winner at the end. And if there is a tie, we will do a tiebreaker at the end.
So let's start with round 1. I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, this is a good question, I think, because both movies are very long. They are almost like 3 hours. So which one do you think dragged the most?
Drag the
Which
most?
one was?
Like, which one was longer? I will
Not
have to
longer.
say,
Not
yeah,
longer. Which one seemed to be
too long.
the slowest one to actually get to something?
I do believe Hateful Eight takes a long time to get going. There is too much of Quentin Tarantino in that movie, unless in the traditional Western that he's trying to emulate. I mean, we have great acting. I mean, we were probably going to talk about the actors later, but it takes a long time to break. And I hated the voiceover at the end, basically. That I think in the last 2 chapters, it starts with a voiceover, and I hated that so much. What do you think is in your opinion?
I agree. The Hateful Eight took too long for anything to happen, and it's just pretentious. Honestly, I think I'm giving away my opinion overall. The main difference with the good, the bad, and the ugly is it also took its time. There were like very long shots, like long frames of like nothing happening.
The desert, basically 2
The
figures in the
desert,
desert.
or like just like a horse coming down from a hill. It took like 10 minutes for the horse to like pass the camera, but
Yeah, you can
the
feel
movie.
the time it takes for the lawn to get to the home, for example. Yeah.
But unlike the Hateful Eight, there are like so many things happening within like those almost 3 hours. Like it's such an epic, like you just said, Sebas. There's a civil war. There's like so many fights between different people. You get to know the context, the background of the characters like way more. It's the dragging, the length of the movie felt less, even though they're about the same duration, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's give a point to it.
And the last point before we go to round 2 is that the betrayals, because they're constantly betraying each other, and we're seeing like, okay, this guy did this to this guy, and this guy did this to this guy. So you're constantly in the waiting for which one is going to be the next betrayal and what is going to happen, because I think they are very original what happened between them, the 3 guys. So I think, especially between Tuco and Blondie, they're great chemistry together. That guy Tuco is a great actor.
I think
Yeah.
this is a good
Yeah, let's
segue
jump on to
to
round 2.
yeah. Let's go to round 2, which is all about characters and acting. So now that you're in the topic, who stole the show overall?
Tuco, man. Tuco. I mean, between the 2 movies, Tuco definitely was always.
Agree.
He was always doing something interesting. I cannot deny. I mean, I do like in Hateful Eight, Walton Goggins and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Those 2 guys are great in the Hateful Eight. They always stole the show. They were the most interesting ones. But against Tuco, it was pretty hard to get it. Yeah.
100%.
You agree?
100%. 100%. I mean, I was impressed. I was really, really impressed with the actor who played the role of Tuco, who is
Eli Wallach.
Thank you.
Eli Wallach.
Like you said, he was always doing something, and he was at the same time like evil, funny. I found him like way funnier than I thought I was gonna find him.
Me too.
I was impressed. Honestly, I think overall his character and the acting behind is really good. And overall, the characters in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly are elaborated better than they are in the Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
There's
you can feel the
something,
story, the story
yeah,
behind them. Yeah, in the other one is too much
too
tell
much
and not show.
dialogue. Yeah, too
Yeah,
much
yeah,
dialogue.
tell
It
and
fit.
not show, right? Yeah,
I mean, Quentin Tarantino has its moments with his dialogues. Like sometimes they work well, sometimes they don't, and he just gets lost in this funny phrasing that is supposed to be deep and like amusing, but I don't know. I just found it slow and
yeah.
very
I mean,
uninteresting.
there were some good scenes and some good dialogue, but nothing. I actually find the more fast dialogue, the less preachy dialogue in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly much better than the Hateful Eight. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, now we have given that point to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So let's move on to round 3, which is about visuals and direction. So which movie of the two is the coolest one?
I was coolest in cold.
No. Which one stands better the test of time? I mean, obviously the Hateful Eight is from 2015, so it's more recent. But I mean,
I
the answer is
was
obvious.
expecting so much because it starts with a beautiful, the horses raining in the snow, those beautiful, the blizzard coming in. I was surprised the first time I watched it, like, oh, this is quite interesting because he's really going back. And we lost that basically in less than 20 minutes. But in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that when they go up like the hill and they find the Confederates across the river and the army here,
Bridge.
that's
The blowing up of the bridge.
it was amazing. And it
That was
was
very, very cool.
yeah, the cinematography in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is unparalleled. I mean, even those long shots that you mentioned that drive, this guy is walking around in the desert and Tuco behind him with a pink umbrella in the horse is just amazing. It's just so funny, so good, so many good touches, and the way the camera handles them, it was nice, undeniably. It has to go to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. There is a reason it has this, 1966. That's a lot of years. That's
It's a
70 years.
it's a lot of years, but it still feels fresh. It's still cool to watch. It's not like you're watching like a movie, like from the silent era or something. It's good. It's relevant, and there's no so far. I mean, you've made me watch a lot of westerns in this podcast, Sebas, which is not my genre. But I mean, so far, this is the one that I've liked the most. It's a really,
Yeah,
really good movie.
the you can tell that Unforgiving owns more to this one than any of the other movies. Yeah, yeah, this is a hard one to beat. I mean, if one day you have the opportunity to watch Once Upon a Time in the West, you're gonna be surprised because
Okay.
that one is even better than this one, but not as funny. This has a lot of humor and the characters are much better. The other one is just more like an epic. So yeah, that's the difference between these two.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on to round 4, which is all about which actually is about two elements, soundtrack and vibe. So I'm going to ask you a question about the soundtrack and another one about the vibe. So, Sebas, first of all, soundtrack from what movie really got stuck with you?
Well, it's pretty hard to compete with, well, in both cases, Ennio Morricone or Ennio Morricone, the great composer, but in particular in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, it's just original at the time. Of course, you have listened to it so many times after 60 years that is hard to that. But you were mentioning of Mike, of Mick, that he also did the other one, the Hateful Eight.
Yeah, he did.
So what did you think about the soundtrack in that case?
I don't recall or remember any soundtrack except the Mexican guy playing Silent Night in the piano while they
In
were
Hateful Eight,
poisoning.
yeah.
Yeah, while they were poisoning the coffee. So that's the only thing, and that's not even like an original soundtrack. So that's how unremarkable the
Yeah.
soundtrack is in that movie.
And the sounds that in the good, the bad, and the ugly, he does those weird signs like
It's
that
perfect.
now,
And the
yeah,
guitar,
yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
really surf-like guitar doing the riff, it's beautiful. Now I have a second part to the question about the vibe. I'm gonna see, what you think about it. So what vibe, what kind of feeling you get from either movie, in the sense, do you feel like the movie is trying to, like, is the movie really like a Western or not? I think that's my point.
Well, I mean, the Hateful Eight look feels like a theater play. Basically, it's only showing this small part in what is it, Wyoming, or I don't
Yeah,
remember
Wyoming.
even.
Yeah, Wyoming.
Yeah,
Wyoming.
Wyoming, a mountain in Wyoming, and it's a place that you don't want to live in, right? Because everything they describe it just feel awful. But in the good, the bad, and the ugly, you feel like okay, it's very bad because you're watching a lot of soldiers being killed. The war is late, is present in every single part of the movie. Sometimes they're just taking a bath and uh, a cannonball explodes and destroys the building where they are. You never knew was going to happen with the world. That feeling of what was happening during that time. They were not an isolated three guys isolated. No, these guys were part of the world. They put on uniforms, and sometimes they were working with the Confederates. Sometimes they were working with the North. So it was an interesting, and it felt like it was the land of opportunity. Nothing
Exactly.
that you
Yeah.
felt like that in the other one, right?
No, exactly. And what I want to say also is that I don't think The Hateful Eight is a Western. I don't think it
You
is.
don't feel
You
that?
know, you
Yeah.
know what, you know what's the vibe that I get from that movie?
Like,
Knives Out. Knives Out. Who
oh,
done it?
like a
That's it.
mystery. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, who
that's
done
a
it?
good point.
That's
Yeah.
it. Like the first, I want to say that the 2/3 of the movie, no, maybe like the first part of the movie, trying to do somehow a setup of the West of a Western, but it's not really, because it's in the snow, it's in the mountains. Like Sela said, it's more like a theater play of people cramped in a room. But then someone gets killed, poisoned, and then it's the whole long speech analysis from Samuel L. Jackson who done it. It
Yeah.
just felt like an
40
Agatha
minutes
Christie
basically of,
mystery. Yeah, I felt like I was watching Knives Out without, like the good script. So sorry,
yeah, or,
it's not a Western.
and something fun. I mean, the mistreating of Daisy, Jason Lead character. I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, but I never felt that when watching a woman being so mistreated. So, like, where is the humor in this one? It's all
None. Yeah, we can talk
bleak
about
and terrible.
the economy of the whole thing. But let's also, the point obviously goes to the good,
The
the
good.
bad, and the ugly. So let's move on to our next round, which is actually round number 5, memorable moments. So, Sebas, from each movie, what scenes do you think are the most like memorable, like the touchstones of each movie, and comparing them, then which one stands as the better one?
So the bridge scene is by far the best scene, but I have to say that I love like that moment when they are riding the carriage and they see the gray soldiers coming in and they get close and they are okay, they are Confederates because they have the gray uniform and they start to dust off the gray dust from the blue and it becomes blue. It was it was perfect. The perfect setup, perfect payoff. It is very meaningful in that case what happens to them. But it's still the bridge scene is great. And I also love, sorry to take another one, Tuco in the bathtub, taking out the guy with that he shot at like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It was also pretty good. It was, I didn't remember that was from this movie, and I remember seeing it. And in the other one, I mean, when they hang up Daisy, that's a big spoiler alert. I think it was very satisfying ending to the movie. everyone died at the end, I guess. And I really like the only like part of big dialogue that wasn't boring. It was when Walton Goggins is making fun of Russell Crowe believing or John Hurt believing that Samuel L. Jackson really had a letter from
Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln. I think I really like the scene. It was very meaningful and right before basically the end, but it was interesting. But yeah, that's about it. I don't know in your case, which one do you think is best?
I agree with the bridge scene from the good, the bad, the bad and the ugly. It's so epic and so unexpected. I did read in the trivia in IMDb about a bridge exploding and how they let. I was also surprised by the way, Sebas, that the whole movie was shot in the south of Spain. Actually, I think I heard that most of the spaghetti westerns from Sergio
Yes.
Leone were done in Spain, but I never thought it was like so dry, so desert like. That was impressive. But yeah, the bridges scene is just like from another movie, from a war movie. It's epic. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
I guess
The bridge, what was it? Yeah, the Quiet Bridge, basically the movie is kind of like the same plot of that one. Yeah.
yeah, and then I struggled
And
to
the
find.
captain in that scene, Aldo Gifri, I think he was one of those scene stealers that I really like in that part of the scene. The drunk captain that he was telling them about the horrible part of the war and the stupidity of that bridge and all that. I think it was great. I just wanted to mention his name. Yeah.
No, no worries. And I was just about to say that I find it really hard to come up with the scene that really stuck with me for the Hateful Eight. I would only say I don't agree with the hanging of the Daisy, the murky character, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I don't know. I didn't feel any satisfaction watching that, to be honest. I maybe think when they introduce Channing Tatum and they were kind of like talking to the people in the store. What was the name of the place? The Haberdashery, something like that.
Millie's something?
Yeah, I forget.
Minnie's place.
Yeah. Well, whatever the store where the kind of like store refuge where they were. Um,
Minnie's cabin or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah.
yeah, I'm forgetting what the term that they used. I thought the way he spoke and the acting was actually good. It was refreshing, but then we don't get too much of Channing Tatum, so he gets killed
And the best acting
pretty
of
quickly.
and the best acting of Michael Madsen in that scene as well. And he was like
Yeah,
the
I think Michael.
charming the
Yeah, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's why I got mad with the movie, because Michael Madsen is such a good actor, and then it's completely like underutilized in this movie.
yes. I'm not going to deny that was the
I
only part that he
I
was
don't I
really
don't I
like
don't like
interacting. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like directors that don't you know take advantage profit of good actors. Like put them to good use. I don't know what Tarantino was thinking here. Honestly, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyways, this point obviously goes to the good,
The Bad and the Ugly.
bad, and the ugly, which so far this is a landslide win. Last round, Sebas, which is round number 6, is if you would have not just 2 hours, but almost 3 hours, because both movies are so darn long.
2
Which
hours
one
and
would
40
you?
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, which one would you choose to watch again right now?
Two hours and 58 minutes for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah. Just yeah,
I couldn't
it
agree more.
works. Yeah.
Now,
Nothing
is
else to
there
tell
any
about that.
the verdict is clear. This is one of the first times I think in this versus that one movie wins like by a landslide over the other one. I just wanted to ask you, Silas, is there anything good about the Hateful Eight? Just to maybe be a little less partial.
No, I did enjoy it, but I do believe it's my least favorite Tarantino movie. By far. And it's interesting because there is even a longer version in Netflix. And I was thinking, should I watch that one? No way. Like, yeah, because they divide basically the chapters in make it a full episode of TV, like an hour each. And like, no way. I'm not watching that one. It was out of time. I mean, the promise was just, yeah. I think I agree with you. It's supposed to be a Western taking place after the Civil War, but you never really felt like a Western. It felt more like a theater play. They could be from 1980 basically, and there won't be any basically any change. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. They could change the setup easily, replace Wyoming with, I don't know, Quebec, and it will work perfectly. There's nothing.
they probably won't be able to do like the dead or alive thing, but yeah, I guess that's the only thing that probably changes. But the rest is basically the same. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and yeah, it's too preachy. It's too preachy. I'm going to agree with you. They just talk too much, and they over explain that part when he's basically teasing the general to basically being able to kill him. Also felt he was like, yeah, everyone was a bad guy in that movie. Yeah, in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I think he was overindulging himself, Tarantino,
Too
with this
much.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this episode of Versus, we just talked about the Hateful Eight. This is the 2015 movie from Quentin Tarantino. And we also talked about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from Sergio Leone, done shot in 1966, a classic who just won this round, this battle, this 6-round battle.
This duel, gunslinger duel, they won. Okay, thank you
So
very much. Thank you everyone for your time, for your long time, especially if you watch the movies with us. Please subscribe, share the podcast, follow us on social media. We are at CinemaJam Pod everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And especially if you have any suggestions, you can post it in YouTube or in Facebook, where we can follow up and maybe, because we're always looking for this type of versus. So any suggestion will help us find new ideas for the next week. In Facebook, we'll actually be posting what will we be watching next week. So until next time, keep jamming about movies.
until next time, thanks everyone.